The Soyuz nearing its touchdown point southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan. And we're standing by for touchdown. The Soyuz is home. Touchdown confirmed at 4:15 a.m. Central Time, 3:15 p.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan. Tim Kopra, Tim Peake, and Yuri Malenchenko are back on Earth after 186 days in space, the same number of days aboard the International Space Station. The Soyuz has landed.
Let's have a look at some, I think we can go to some live pictures now. Well, there we can see them on the ground. They're out of the Soyuz capsule. And
Tim Peake, the first British astronaut to fly on the International Space Station. Peake completing his first mission. Malenchenko completing 6 flights into space and a total of 828 days away from the planet, second most on the all-time list behind fellow cosmonaut Gennady Padalka. Nice sunny afternoon on a Saturday in south-central Kazakhstan as the landing occurred right on target. The crew now being attended to by flight surgeons and nurses, which is a standard procedure as they have an opportunity to get their land legs back.
Tim Peake, you might have noticed, still smiling there as we listen into the NASA commentary. He's obviously wiping some of the sweat off his face. He'll be in that rather warm suit for a little bit, and he almost looks like a man on a deck chair. He's clearly had a good holiday.
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, very good. It was incredible. Yeah, it was real right. Best ride I've been on ever.
Best ride I've been on ever, said Tim Peake.
It's just been fantastic, from start to finish.
Tim, David Troopman over here. David Troopman, welcome back to planet Earth.
Thank you, David.
Great to see you looking so well. Just tell me how you're feeling right now.
Just truly elated. I mean, just the smells of Earth are so strong. Yeah, it's just wonderful to be back to fresh air. Really good. I look forward to seeing the family now, definitely. Definitely. Just, I mean, it's a life-changing experience. It's overwhelming, really, to be up there for 6 months and to see everything and experience everything. It was just truly incredible. I'm going to miss the view, definitely. Yeah.
You said you were looking forward to some rain on your mission. We've got a brilliant sunny day instead.
I'd love some cool rain right now. It's very, very hot. In the capsule was very hot, and in the suit's very hot. So, yeah, some cool rain right now would be lovely.
Well, we're listening to an impromptu news conference from Tim Peake. I'm not sure how much you can hear, but he said he's truly elated. The Earth smells so strong, and he looks forward to some cool rain on his face. And I suspect when he gets back home to the United Kingdom, that can be arranged. Palham Ghosh is watching those pictures along with me from Mission Control. Palham, I mean, that was Tim Peake as we know and like him, smiling, happy, very, very upbeat.
Wasn't he cool? It doesn't seem like just a few moments ago he was orbiting the Earth, but he's landed. He seems happy, relaxed. In fact, he got in touch with us just before he set foot in the Soyuz capsule. He said how much he was looking forward to coming home, and he promised to chat to us when he arrived. And true to that promise, he did that. And hasn't he been such an inspiration? The first spacewalk by a British astronaut, controlling a rover from outer space, inspiring school children. I mean, his activities have inspired more than 1 million school children across the UK, and it really is a thrilling moment. I'm sure this isn't the end of his mission in many ways. He will be back in the UK in a few weeks' time. There were a few formalities, but I know that he's keen to continue to inspire school children.
He did say he will miss the view, but I suspect the cool rain might make up for it. And he did seem, as you say, very, very pleased and happy with how the whole 186 days has gone.
Well, there's a saying, when astronauts are up in space, they want to be back on Earth, and when they're back on Earth, they want to be back in space. So I'm sure Tim's got mixed feelings. He'll desperately want to see his family. He's a great family man, but he was so much looking forward to being up on the space station. He did so much seem to be enjoying himself, so I'm sure he's looking for another mission as soon as he can.
We're watching pictures of Tim Copra coming out, the American from the space station. And again, maybe you could talk us through what is actually happening now. There's some medical tests, but why don't they take the spacesuit off them more quickly, given that it's obviously very hot there?
Well, there's a procedure. What they want to do is to make sure that the astronauts are okay. They're currently acclimatising to gravity. They're acclimatising. I mean, they've been shaken to pieces by that landing, so they need to settle down a bit. They're having their heart rate monitored with little things on their fingers, but it won't be long. After they've made their calls home, they'll each be handed phones before they're taken to a medical tent. And look, Tim's probably phoning Rebecca and the boys, saying, I'll be home for Father's Day, no doubt. And then very soon he'll be taken to an airport in Kazakhstan and make his way to Cologne, where that's where he's probably going to meet his family, and then going to give a news conference next week.
Well, we can see that he's on the phone now, and I suspect he must be on the phone to his family straight away as his first priority. He said this was a life-changing experience, and let's talk a little bit more about how what he has done may change things here, because there have been some people who think that space has been a kind of poor relation, governments have not been that interested, it costs a lot of money, what's the point, that kind of argument. Do you think Tim Peake has done a lot to reverse that?
Well, there's a generation, myself included, that was inspired by the Apollo program. It made me want to study science, and the sense is that Tim has done the same with a new generation of school children. They've been so engaged with his experiments, so engaged with his missions, and perhaps the government may have seen the value in human spaceflight. Some argue about the value of the actual science that's being done, but the inspirational value speaks for itself. If a number of children do study science, gain an interest in science that otherwise wouldn't have, then the estimated £80 million that it costs to send him up there might be seen as worth it.
Palab, we'll leave it there and I'll bring in Professor Lucy Green again and Rebecca Morrell just for some thoughts on that. Lucy, in terms of the inspirational bit, do you think it will inspire politicians?
Politicians are harder to inspire than young children, I think, because they actually control the purse strings. I hope that politicians see the value, and I think what's important is that awareness has been raised across not only Tim Peake's mission but across the whole of the UK space sector. It employs a huge number of people and has a turnover of around £11 billion a year, so it's a very significant player in the global market, and our aim is that we continue to build this programme and we continue to generate more money for the economy. Space was also a recession busting industry as well, so it has really shown its worth, and I hope that the politicians take note of that.
It's also something where we cooperate with other countries like Russia, which from time to time we don't get on with, including now in the political sphere. So is it also useful in that sense? Is that a selling point to governments?
Yeah, I mean, since the space race, when, you know, the Soviets and the Americans were very much kind of competing with each other to be the first, after that, really, there is a real sense of collaboration up in space. I mean, think about the International Space Station, all the nations that are working together up there. You know, politics are left behind once you leave the Earth's atmosphere, as it was, and that is one of the really important aspects of this.
I think we can listen in again to NASA TV. There's an interview going on. Let's hear what's happening.
Yuri Malenchenko first, Tim Peake second, and Tim Cobra third. Last but not least, all three in the chairs now. They're going to, I think, enjoy the weather, their first breath of fresh air in over 6 months before we head over to the medical tent, which is already erected just about 100 yards away or so.
Just a couple of absolute layman's questions. Given what it went through, is the Soyuz actually hot? In other words, do people have to stand back before opening the doors and so on?
I suspect it won't be hot to touch. I think the heat shield that you have around the Soyuz is designed to withstand the heat and dissipate the heat. And also you have one side of the spacecraft, or the Soyuz capsule, that will be heated. And so as the capsule comes into the atmosphere, it's that side that's taking the brunt of all the friction and the heating.
As it comes down on the parachute as well, for the first stage, as it comes down at a bit of an angle, so it's not directly underneath the parachute, and that helps to dissipate some of the heat too. So hopefully it won't be too frazzled by the time.
And it comes through very cold air, presumably, in the
yeah, exactly.
The
it has a bit of time to cool down, but the whole thing is designed. You know, this is kind of old, tried and tested technology. The Russians have done this time and time again, so they've got. You know, it's a simple piece of technology in some sense when you compare it to, say, the space shuttle that